Debt is not just attacking your bank account, debt is training your children. Listen to this carefully. Every bill sitting on your table is speaking. Every late notice, every overdraft alert, every credit card statement, every whispered argument after the kids go to bed is teaching a lesson inside your house. And the dangerous part is this: your children may not understand interest rates, minimum payments, credit limits, or collections, but they understand tension. They understand fear. They understand when the room changes because money was mentioned. Do not pass this debt cycle down, because debt becomes generational when it becomes normal. When a child grows up watching parents panic, hide, avoid, borrow, swipe, stress, and then pretend everything is fine, that child begins to believe money is always supposed to feel like pressure. They begin to believe survival is normal. They begin to believe arguments are normal. They begin to believe buying things you cannot afford is normal. They begin to believe silence is normal. And before they ever open their first bank account, they have already inherited a financial spirit, a financial pattern, and a financial language. And here is what nobody is telling you. Your children are learning money before you teach them money. They are learning it when they watch you decline a small purchase with anger in your voice. They are learning it when they hear you say, "We can't afford anything," over and over again. They are learning it when emotional spending becomes the family medication after a hard week. They are learning it when envelopes stay unopened, accounts stay unchecked, and everyone feels the pressure but nobody names the problem. So, let me ask you this. What lesson is debt writing in your house right now? This is not just about another budgeting app. It is not just about cutting out coffee, and it is definitely not about working so hard that your body breaks while the cycle stays alive. Because if the mindset does not change, more money will only create more expensive bondage. If the stewardship does not change, increase will leak out of the same holes. If the spirit of fear is not confronted, your children may inherit your income habits, your avoidance habits, and your panic habits. But here is the promise. God has a way to break debt spiritually and practically before it becomes your child's normal. Proverbs says, "The prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and pay the penalty." That means wisdom does not wait until the house collapses. Wisdom sees the pattern, names the danger, and chooses a new direction. Debt becomes generational when it is normalized, but it can be broken when stewardship becomes intentional. Your house does not have to be a classroom for fear. It can become a training ground for wisdom. Your table does not have to hold bills, shame, and silence. It can hold truth, order, prayer, and a plan. If you are ready to break the debt cycle in your family, hit that like button right now as a declaration that this pattern stops with you. Subscribe if you want biblical stewardship teaching that does not just inspire you, but equips you. And share this with one parent who is tired of living under financial pressure. Your one click could become the moment their household stops surviving and starts building a new legacy. And the first revelation you have to receive is this: debt is not just what you owe. Debt is how you have been trained to respond to pressure. Listen to this carefully. Some people think debt is just a balance on a screen. They think it is just the credit card number, the car loan, the medical bill, the student loan, the payday advance, the personal loan from a friend, the buy now, pay later payment that looked small when they clicked it. But debt is deeper than a number. Debt is a rhythm. Debt is a reaction. Debt is a pattern your nervous system may have learned before your financial system ever understood what was happening. Pressure comes, and panic answers. A need appears, and borrowing feels like the only door. A desire rises, and a payment plan makes it feel harmless. A bill comes due, and avoidance feels easier than confrontation. Then comes relief. Then comes shame. Then comes silence. Then the pressure builds again. Panic, borrowing, relief, shame, silence, repeat. Panic, borrowing, relief, shame, silence, repeat. And if you do not confront that pattern, you will keep calling it a temporary problem while it quietly becomes a family system. Proverbs 22:7 says, "The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender." That verse is not just talking about math. It is talking about mastery. It is talking about who gets to command your peace. It is talking about who gets first claim on your paycheck before your children, before your future, before your savings, before your assignment, before your generosity. The borrower becomes servant to the lender. And here is the part that should wake every parent up. Servanthood is not only financial, it becomes emotional, it becomes mental, it becomes behavioral, it becomes generational. Because when the lender owns your paycheck, fear starts trying to own your atmosphere. When minimum payments own your calendar, stress starts owning your conversations. When past decisions own your future income, your children begin to feel a pressure they cannot even name. They may not know the balance, they may not know the interest rate, they may not know the login password, but they can feel the bondage. They can feel when joy is expensive. They can feel when peace depends on payday. They can feel when money is not a tool in the house, but a threat in the house. So, let me ask you this. When pressure hits your home, what pattern do your children see? Do they see stewardship, or do they see survival? Do they see prayer and planning, or panic and pretending? Do they see you count the cost, or do they see you escape the feeling? Do they see you make wise decisions before the crisis, or do they see every crisis become another reason to borrow? Because you are always teaching. Even when you are silent, you are teaching. Even when you avoid the conversation, you are teaching. Even when you hide the bill, you are teaching. You are either teaching your children stewardship or survival. Stewardship says, we manage what God has placed in our hands. Survival says, we react to whatever is screaming the loudest. Stewardship says, every dollar has an assignment. Survival says, every dollar disappears. Stewardship says, we tell the truth, make a plan, and obey God step by step. Survival says, we will deal with it later. But later is where cycles grow. Later is where bondage multiplies. Later is where children quietly absorb what parents never intentionally explained. And hear me clearly, this is not about shame. Shame will keep you hiding, and hiding will keep you bound. This is about waking up. This is about telling the truth before the pattern writes itself into the next generation. This is about saying, I may have learned survival, but my children will learn stewardship. I may have inherited fear, but I will hand down wisdom. I may have made decisions under pressure, but I will not let pressure disciple my house. You cannot break a debt cycle you keep calling a temporary problem. You have to name it for what it is. If borrowing has become your answer to every emergency, that is a pattern. If spending has become your comfort every time life hurts, that is a pattern. If silence has become your response every time numbers feel overwhelming, that is a pattern. And what you refuse to name, you cannot confront. What you refuse to confront, you cannot change. What you refuse to change, your children may repeat. But today, the pattern gets exposed. Today, the cycle loses its hiding place. Today, you stop saying, this is just how life is, and you start saying, this is where wisdom begins. Because once you can see the chain, you can break the chain. Once you can identify the rhythm, you can interrupt the rhythm. Once you can admit, debt has been training my responses, you can begin letting God retrain your mind, your habits, your house, and your future. And the first chain you have to break is not on your credit report, it is in your mind. Listen to this carefully. Before debt ever became a payment, it became a belief. Before it became a balance, it became a script. Before it showed up as interest, late fees, overdrafts, and minimum payments, it showed up as a sentence you kept repeating inside your soul. I will always be behind. Money disappears in my hands. I cannot afford to obey God. My family has always struggled. People like us never get ahead. This is just how life works. And Romans 12:2 says, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Did you hear that? Transformation begins with renewal, not with panic, not with denial, not with rearranging bills while keeping the same broken belief system. The Bible does not say be transformed by a bigger paycheck. It does not say be transformed by a lower interest rate. It does not say be transformed by pretending the problem is smaller than it is. It says be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Because if your mind stays enslaved, your money will keep obeying the old master. And here is what nobody is telling you. You can pay off a credit card and still carry the poverty script that created the debt. You can get a raise and still think like lack. You can receive a blessing and still sabotage it because your inner language has not been renewed. This is why some people get more money and still have no peace. More income entered the house, but the old script stayed in charge. Fear still made the decisions. Shame still controlled the conversations. Impulse still answered pain. Avoidance still handled pressure. Your mind is either a prison or a place of stewardship. A prison says, nothing will ever change. Stewardship says, God has trusted me with what is in my hand, and I will manage it with wisdom. A prison says, I am trapped by what happened before me. Stewardship says, I may have inherited struggle, but I am not cursed to repeat it. A prison says, I am a victim. Stewardship says, I am not a victim, I am a steward. Say that until your spirit believes it. I am not a victim, I am a steward. I am not cursed to repeat this. I am called to rebuild. Because your children inherit language before they inherit assets. They hear what you say about money long before they understand what money is. They hear, we are broke. They hear, money is evil. They hear, rich people are greedy. They hear, debt is normal. They hear, we will never have enough. And those words become seeds. Those seeds become beliefs. Those beliefs become decisions. Those decisions become lifestyles. And one day, if nobody interrupts the script, your child may be standing in their own kitchen repeating the same words you said in yours. So, let me ask you this. What financial language is being discipled into your house? Because faith does not ignore reality, but faith refuses to let fear become the narrator. Yes, the bill may be real. Yes, the balance may be real. Yes, the pressure may be real. But the Word of God must become more real than the voice of panic. Philippians 4:19 says, My God will meet all your needs according to the riches of His glory in Christ Jesus. Proverbs 3:9-10 says to honor the Lord with your wealth, and then your barns will be filled with plenty. Deuteronomy 8:18 says, God gives you the ability to produce wealth. That means provision is not just something you chase, it is something you learn to steward under God. Here is your action step. For the next 30 days, every time fear speaks, answer it with scripture. When fear says, I will always be behind, answer, my God shall supply all my needs. When fear says, I cannot afford to obey God, answer, I will honor the Lord with what He has placed in my hands. When fear says, my family has always struggled, answer, God gives me the power to produce wealth, and I will use that power with wisdom. Replace the script, interrupt the lie. Renew the mind. Because a renewed mind is the birthplace of a renewed financial future. Do not let poverty preach to your children louder than scripture. Do not let fear write the family language. Do not let debt become the voice that defines your identity. You are not just trying to survive another month. You are rebuilding a house. You are breaking a pattern. You are training a generation to think differently, speak differently, manage differently, and trust God differently. And if you believe this cycle stops with you, write this in the comments right now. I am breaking the debt cycle in my family. Declare it, type it, speak it over your house. Not as empty motivation, but as agreement with the Word of God. The old script is being replaced. The old fear is being confronted. The old pattern is losing its authority. Your mind is being renewed, and your future is being rebuilt. Now that the mind is being renewed, the next place God will take you is into management, because faith does not cancel responsibility. Faith gives you the courage to face what fear told you to avoid. Listen to this carefully. Some of you have been praying for financial breakthrough while refusing to look at your actual numbers. You are asking God to bless the house, but you do not know what is leaking out of the house. You are asking God for increase, but you have not assigned the income you already have. You are asking God to deliver you from debt, but you cannot name every debt, every due date, every interest rate, every subscription, every automatic withdrawal, and every place your money disappears. And here is what nobody is telling you. Avoidance feels like protection, but it is actually agreement with fear. When you refuse to open the app, refuse to check the balance, refuse to read the statement, refuse to write down the debt, refuse to see the truth, you are not protecting your peace. You are surrendering your authority, because you cannot command what you refuse to confront. Proverbs 27:23 says, Be sure you know the condition of your flocks, give careful attention to your herds. In ancient times, your flocks and herds represented wealth, provision, assets, responsibility, and future increase. Today, your flocks are your bank accounts. Your herds are your debts. Your flocks are your income streams, your savings, your bills, your subscriptions, your insurance, your credit cards, your car note, your mortgage, your student loans, your spending habits, your minimum payments, and your due dates. The Bible is saying, know the condition, not guess the condition, not hope the condition is better than last month, not avoid the condition because it makes you uncomfortable. Know it. Give careful attention to it. Chaos repels blessing. Order attracts it. Let that get into your spirit. Chaos repels blessing. Order attracts it. God is not confused. God is not disorganized. God does not build legacy on denial. From Genesis, God brought order before increase. He separated, named, arranged, assigned, and then multiplication came. So if you want multiplication in your finances, stop leaving everything unnamed, untracked, and unmanaged. Order is not the opposite of faith. Order is faith becoming responsible. And parents, hear this. Avoidance teaches your children fear. Clarity teaches your children authority. When they watch you hide from numbers, they learn that money is something to fear. When they watch you panic over bills, they learn that money has power over the atmosphere. But when they see you sit down, open the statements, write the numbers, tell the truth, pray, plan, and make decisions, they learn that a steward does not run from responsibility. A steward stands up and says, this is what we have, this is what we owe, this is what must change. And with God's wisdom, we are going to bring this house into order. Here is your action step. Before this week is over, write it all down. Every debt, every minimum payment, every interest rate, every due date, every recurring expense, every subscription, every automatic draft, every place money leaves your account without your attention. Do not do it in your head. Put it on paper. Put it in a spreadsheet. Put it somewhere you can see it, because what stays vague stays powerful. But what gets named can be governed. Every dollar is a soldier, and you are the general. If you do not assign it, someone else will capture it. The lender will capture it. The subscription will capture it. The impulse purchase will capture it. The restaurant app will capture it. The old habit will capture it. The emergency you failed to prepare for will capture it. Money without assignment becomes money under attack. But when you give every dollar a mission, your paycheck stops being a victim of chaos and starts becoming an instrument of stewardship. So, stop saying, I do not know where it all goes. That sentence may be honest, but it cannot remain your lifestyle. Starting now, you will know, you will count, you will confront, you will bring order. Because God does not bless what you refuse to count. And the moment you stop hiding from the numbers is the moment you begin taking authority over the pattern. And once you count it, you are going to see something that may make you uncomfortable. The problem is not always that there is no water coming into the house. Sometimes the problem is that the bucket has holes. Listen to this carefully. Some families are praying for more water while ignoring the leaks. They are asking God for increase, asking God for promotion, asking God for a better job, asking God for a breakthrough. But every time money enters the house, it drains out through habits nobody wants to confront. And then they say, we just need more. But more water does not fix a leaking bucket. More income does not fix unmanaged spending. More blessing does not fix undisciplined appetites. If the holes stay open, increase only gives the leak more to consume. Haggai 1-6 says, you earn wages, only to put them in a purse with holes in it. That is not just poetry. That is a spiritual mirror. God is showing a picture of people working, earning, laboring, sweating, bringing money home, and still feeling empty. Why? Because the system is leaking. The bag has holes. The income is real, but the stewardship is broken. The paycheck comes in, but peace does not stay. The deposit hits, but debt still rules. The money arrives, but somehow it is already gone. And here is what nobody is telling you. A leak does not have to look sinful to be destructive. It may look small. It may look normal. It may look deserved. It may look like one more online order because you had a hard day. One more restaurant meal because you are exhausted. One more convenience fee because you did not plan ahead. One more subscription you forgot to cancel. One more quick stop. One more impulse purchase. One more toy because you feel guilty. One more outfit because you want to feel better. One more payment plan because the monthly number looked harmless. No shame, but tell the truth. Emotional spending is a leak. Convenient spending can become a leak. Unused subscriptions are leaks. Impulse shopping is a leak. Eating out every time the house feels tired can become a leak. Buying your children things because you feel bad about your schedule, your stress, your divorce, your absence, your frustration, or your lack of time can become a leak. And parents, hear this part clearly. When guilt drives spending, children begin to believe love is proven by purchases. They begin to think affection has a receipt. They begin to think apology comes in a shopping bag. They begin to think disappointment must be medicated with something new. That is not love. That is pressure wearing a smile. Love gives presence. Love gives wisdom. Love gives boundaries. Love gives security. Love tells the child, I do not have to buy what we cannot afford to prove that I care about you. Because if you teach your child that every uncomfortable emotion deserves a purchase, you are training them to use money as medicine. And one day, when they are stressed, lonely, tired, rejected, or overwhelmed, they may reach for debt the same way they watched you reach for spending. So, let me ask you this. Where is your house leaking? Do not answer emotionally. Answer honestly. For the next 7 days, track every dollar. Not most dollars, not the big dollars. Every dollar. The grocery run, the gas station snack, the delivery fee, the app purchase, the subscription, the coffee, the toy, the late fee, the interest, the convenience charge, the thing you bought and immediately justified. No excuses, no editing, no pretending. Do not clean it up before you look at it. Write it down exactly as it happened, because edited numbers cannot heal an honest problem. Here is the filter you are going to use before you spend. Ask yourself, does this purchase build peace, reduce bondage, serve purpose, or feed pressure? If it builds peace, it may have a place. If it reduces bondage, it may be wisdom. If it serves purpose, it may be stewardship. But if it feeds pressure, feeds image, feeds guilt, feeds boredom, feeds insecurity, or feeds the appetite that keeps emptying your house, then you are not spending, you are leaking. Breaking debt requires closing the leaks before asking God for increase. Because God can pour, but stewardship must hold. God can provide, but discipline must protect. God can open a door, but wisdom must stop the drain. Starting today, stop feeding the holes. Stop funding the habits that are stealing your peace. Stop giving your future to purchases that cannot love you back. Close the leaks, guard the bucket. Teach your children that peace is better than impulse, purpose is better than pressure, and wisdom is better than pretending. And one of the biggest leaks your children must see you close is the leak called image. Listen to this carefully. Some debt does not come from need. It comes from pretending. It comes from trying to look stable when the house is under pressure, trying to look blessed when the bank account is bleeding, trying to look generous when the credit card is carrying the weight, trying to look successful because someone else upgraded their car, remodeled their kitchen, booked the vacation, bought the shoes, posted the pictures, and now pressure is preaching to your house. And here is what nobody is telling you. Image debt is one of the most dangerous debts because it feels spiritual while it is feeding pride. You can call it excellence. You can call it favor. You can call it wanting the best for your family. You can call it an opportunity. But if you had to borrow peace to buy appearance, that is not favor. That is pressure with a religious vocabulary. Proverbs 13:7 says, one person pretends to be rich, yet has nothing. Another pretends to be poor, yet has great wealth. Did you hear that? The Bible exposes the performance. One pretends to be rich and has nothing. The outside looks impressive, but the inside is empty. The clothes look expensive, but the savings account is starving. The car looks successful, but the payment is choking the family. The vacation looks beautiful, but the return home is filled with anxiety. The post gets applause, but the house has no peace. But another pretends to be poor and has great wealth. In other words, wisdom does not always need to announce itself. Stewardship does not always need to impress people. Wealth does not always have to perform. Sometimes the richest decision you will ever make is saying no while everyone else is saying yes. Sometimes the most blessed thing you can do is keep driving the old car, keep using the working appliance, keep wearing what you already own, keep cooking at home, keep living below your means, and keep building something nobody can see yet. So, let me ask you this. Are your children watching you choose freedom, or are they watching you choose an image? Because children notice what you celebrate. If they see you violate the budget to keep up with people, they learn comparison is more important than peace. If they see you borrow for every upgrade, they learn new is better than wise. If they see you say yes to pressure and then become stressed in private, they learn appearance is worth anxiety. And if they hear you say, "We cannot afford this," but then watch you swipe anyway, they learn that boundaries are words without authority. No, that pattern stops now. Your children need to see a holy no, a no that protects the house, a no that guards the future, a no that says, "We do not have to impress people who are not responsible for our peace." No to unnecessary upgrades, no to comparison purchases, no to pressure spending, no to debt disguised as opportunity, no to buying the thing just because everyone else has it, no to stretching the household to maintain an image God never assigned to you. And parents, do not just say no. Explain the wisdom behind the no. Give your children language. Say, "We are choosing peace over pressure." Say, "We are building something." Say, "We do not spend money we have not assigned." Say, "That is not in our plan right now." Say, "We can enjoy life without going into bondage." Say, "Our family does not have to look rich to walk in wisdom." Those sentences are discipleship. Those words are seeds. Those explanations are training your children to value order over applause. Because a child who sees wise boundaries learns that peace is more valuable than pretending. And here is the contrast that will change your house. Image makes the house look rich. Wisdom makes the house free. Image impresses people for a moment. Wisdom protects your children for a lifetime. Image asks, "What will people think?" Wisdom asks, "What will this cost our peace?" Image says, "We deserve it." Wisdom says, "We have assigned our resources to purpose." Image borrows from tomorrow to perform today. Wisdom sacrifices today to build tomorrow. Here is your action step. The next time pressure tries to make you spend outside your plan, pause and say it out loud. We are choosing peace over pressure. Let your children hear it. Let your own soul hear it. Let comparison hear it. Let debt hear it. Because every time you choose a boundary over an image, you are teaching your family that freedom is worth more than applause. And that lesson may save your children from chains they never have to wear. And once you have chosen boundaries over image, the next thing you must do is stop treating debt like a monthly annoyance and start treating it like a spiritual assignment. Listen to this carefully. Too many families are not attacking debt, they are feeding it. They are servicing it just enough to keep it alive. Minimum payment, minimum payment, minimum payment. A little interest here, a little fee there, a little balance transfer, a little "I will deal with it later." And the debt never dies, it just changes shape. It moves from one card to another card, from one loan to another loan, from one stressful month to another stressful month. And because you keep touching it every month, you think you are handling it. But paying minimums without a strategy is not handling debt, it is keeping the chain polished. And here is what nobody is telling you. Debt loves passivity, debt loves confusion, debt loves emotional decision-making. Debt loves when you get tired and say, "Just pay whatever is due." Debt loves when you do not have a target. Debt loves when every bill gets a little attention but no bill gets attacked with force. Because what you only service can survive for years, but what you attack with a plan begins to lose its authority. Proverbs 21:5 says, "The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty." Did you hear that? The plans of the diligent. Not the wishes of the overwhelmed, not the panic of the frustrated, not the emotional burst that lasts for 3 weeks and then disappears. The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance. That means God honors steady strategy. God honors wise focus. God honors people who stop moving in haste and start moving with discipline. Haste says, "I am tired of this, so I will make one big emotional payment and then put groceries back on the card next week." Diligence says, "I have a plan I can obey consistently." Haste says, "I heard a new method, so now I am switching again." Diligence says, "I chose the strategy, and I am staying with it until the target is dead." Haste says, "I want this gone immediately." Diligence says, "I am going to destroy this debt one assigned dollar at a time." So here is the strategy. There are 2 simple ways to attack debt, and you need to choose one. The first is the smallest balance method. You list your debts from the smallest balance to the largest balance. You pay minimums on everything, but you throw every extra dollar at the smallest debt until it is gone. Why? Because momentum matters. Quick wins matter. When you pay off that first small bill, something happens in your spirit. You realize this can actually change. You get a testimony fast. You get movement. You get evidence. And sometimes a family that has lived under discouragement needs momentum before it needs mathematics. The second method is the highest interest method. You list your debts by interest rate, from highest to lowest. You pay minimums on everything else, and you attack the debt that is costing you the most money. This method saves more in interest over time. It is a mathematical weapon. It says, I am going after the debt that is charging me the most for my delay. It may not give you the fastest emotional win, but it can save your household real money and cut off the most expensive enemy first. Now hear me. Do not turn this into confusion. Choose one. Smallest balance for momentum or highest interest for savings. Choose one and stop switching every time your emotions change. Because some of you are not losing because you lack information. You are losing because you keep changing instructions in the middle of the battle. 1 month you are doing the smallest balance. The next month you heard a podcast, so now you are doing highest interest. Then you get discouraged, so you go back to random payments. Then a bill scares you, so you abandon the plan entirely. No, a strategy that changes every time your feelings change is not a strategy. It is emotion, wearing a spreadsheet. Every dollar is a soldier, and soldiers need orders. You cannot send soldiers in 12 directions and then wonder why no enemy falls. Pick the target, name the target, put it where the family can see it. Credit card number 1, medical bill number 2, store card number 3, personal loan number 4. Whatever it is, look at it and say, you are next. Not all of them at once, one target at a time, minimums on the rest. Every extra dollar on the target, tax refund, bonus, overtime. Side income, canceled subscription money, restaurant money you did not spend, impulse purchase you refused, birthday cash you chose to steward, all of it goes toward the target until that debt dies. And yes, I said dies. Because you cannot make peace with what is stealing your future. You cannot negotiate with a chain. You cannot disciple your children into freedom while casually entertaining the bondage that is eating the family assignment. This is not about hating the lender. This is about refusing to let yesterday keep collecting rent from tomorrow. This is about saying, my paycheck has a purpose. My children have a future. My house has an assignment. And debt does not get to keep first claim forever. Parents, let your children see the strategy in a way they can understand. You do not have to show them every private detail. You do not have to put adult fear on a child's shoulders. But you can give them wisdom. You can say, this bill used to own part of our future, and we are taking it back. You can say, we are paying this off so our money can serve purpose instead of interest. You can say, we are not just making payments. We are breaking a pattern. And when that debt is paid off, do not just quietly move on. Mark it, testify. Let the family see that obedience produces fruit. Say, this bill used to own part of our future, and now it does not. Let your children hear that sentence. Let them feel what freedom sounds like. Let them understand that money can be recovered, patterns can be broken, and bondage can lose its grip when a family gets honest, gets disciplined, and gets aligned with wisdom. Here is your action step. Today, choose your method. Smallest balance or highest interest. Then choose your target debt. Write the name of that debt and the exact balance. Pay minimums on every other debt and throw every extra dollar at that one target until it is gone. Not until you get bored. Not until you feel deprived. Not until pressure offers you another distraction. Until it is gone. Debt loses power when you stop reacting to it and start assigning a strategy against it. So stop drifting. Stop guessing. Stop making random payments to calm your emotions. Put the plan on the table. Put the target in front of your eyes. Put every extra dollar under assignment. And let your children watch you turn bondage into testimony, one defeated debt at a time. And once the target is chosen, you need a system that keeps obeying even when your emotions get tired. Listen to this carefully. Wealthy and wise people do not depend on mood to do what matters. They build systems. They do not wake up every morning and negotiate with discipline. They do not ask, do I feel like saving today? Do I feel like paying debt today? Do I feel like giving today? Do I feel like protecting the bill money today? No. They create order before emotion gets a vote. They make the decision once, and then they build a system that keeps carrying out the decision. And here is what nobody is telling you. A lot of financial failure is not because people do not love God. It is because they keep trusting their mood with assignments. Their mood was never meant to carry. Your mood is not a treasurer. Your feelings are not a financial plan. Your stress is not a budget committee. If every payday requires you to manually decide whether obedience still matters, then every payday becomes a battlefield. And after enough pressure, enough fatigue, enough temptation, enough discouragement, emotion will start redirecting money that was supposed to have an assignment. That is why automation is so powerful. Automation removes emotion from obedience. 1 Corinthians 14:40 says, "Let all things be done decently and in order." Not some things. All things. Your worship in order. Your house in order. Your time in order. Your giving in order. Your debt payments in order. Your bills in order. Your savings in order. Your first fruits in order. Because God is not the author of confusion. He is not honored by chaos just because you prayed over it. Prayer is powerful, but prayer was never meant to become an excuse for disorder. Some people are spiritualizing delay. They say, "I am just trusting God," but they still have no due date calendar. They say, "God will provide," but they have not separated bill money from spending money. They say, "I am believing for breakthrough," but they keep missing payments because everything sits in one account and every dollar looks available. That is not faith. That is confusion with religious language. Faith obeys. Faith prepares. Faith builds order and says, "Lord, bless what I have submitted to wisdom." Automation is not lack of faith. Automation is discipline made visible. So here is your action step. First, automate the minimum payments on every debt so you stop paying late fees to your disorganization. Late fees are not persecution. Sometimes they are the price of disorder. Set the minimums to draft automatically before the due date. Protect your name, protect your credit, protect the peace of the house. Second, schedule your extra debt payment right after payday. Not 3 weeks later when the money has already been eaten by impulse. Not after everyone has had access to it. Right after payday. The moment income comes in, assignment goes out. The target debt gets attacked before emotion starts making speeches. Third, separate bill money from spending money. Have a place for bills. Have a place for groceries and gas. Have a place for giving. Have a place for savings. Stop letting all the money sit in one pile and then wondering why the rent money became restaurant money, why the insurance money became shopping money, why the debt payment became entertainment money. Separation creates protection. What is separated can be guarded. Fourth, build a small emergency buffer. Even if it starts with $50, $100, $200, build something between your family and panic. Because emergencies become debt when there is no buffer. A tire blows, a child needs something, the appliance breaks, the prescription costs more than expected, and because there is no margin, the credit card becomes the rescue plan again. No. Start small, but start now. A small buffer is a wall. It tells chaos, you do not get automatic access to our future anymore. Parents, let your children see this kind of order. Let them hear you say, "This money is already assigned." Let them watch you build systems instead of drama. Let them learn that stewardship is not panic at the end of the month. Stewardship is order at the beginning of the month. Because systems protect your future from the emotions of the moment. So, stop relying on willpower alone. Stop making payday a temptation festival. Stop praying over chaos while refusing to build order. Put obedience on a schedule. Put debt attack on a schedule. Put giving on a schedule. Put saving on a schedule. Put bills in their proper place. Let all things be done decently and in order, because when your systems are submitted to wisdom, your future is no longer at the mercy of your feelings. And once your systems are in order, there is one more fear that must be broken in the house. The fear that says, if I release anything, I will not have enough. Listen to this carefully. Debt trains people to clutch. Debt trains the soul to panic. Debt whispers, hold everything, trust nothing, give nothing. There is never enough. You are always one emergency away from collapse. And after living under pressure long enough, even obedience starts to feel dangerous. Giving feels impossible. Generosity feels irresponsible. Open hands feel unsafe. But that is what bondage does. It does not just attack your money, it attacks your trust. And here is what nobody is telling you. Generosity is not a magic trick to escape responsibility. You do not give as a substitute for wisdom. You do not give so you can ignore your bills. You do not give to impress people while your household is bleeding. You do not give with money already assigned to rent, food, utilities, medicine, or critical obligations, and then call the resulting chaos faith. No, God is not asking you to perform spirituality while refusing stewardship. Generosity does not replace stewardship. It purifies the heart that stewardship flows from. Malachi 3:10 says, "Bring the whole tithe into the storehouse," and then God says, "Test me in this," and promises to open the windows of heaven and pour out blessing. That verse is not about manipulating God, it is about trusting God. It is about a heart that says, "Lord, I refuse to let fear become my provider. I refuse to let debt become my teacher. I refuse to let scarcity decide whether I obey." God was confronting people who wanted harvest without honor, provision without priority, blessing without surrender. And he said, "Bring it into order, put me first. Trust me with what your fear keeps trying to control." Then Luke 6:38 says, "Give, and it will be given to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over." That is the economy of the kingdom. Open-handed living creates movement. But notice, Jesus did not say, "Waste, and it will be given." He did not say, "Pretend, and it will be given." He did not say, "Ignore responsibility, and it will be given." He said, "Give." True generosity flows from obedience, not ego. It flows from trust, not performance. It flows from a stewarded heart, not a chaotic one. So, let me ask you this. Has debt made you afraid to obey? Some of you used to be generous. You used to give with joy. You used to help people. You used to support ministry. You used to bless somebody quietly. But then debt squeezed you. Pressure embarrassed you. Bills scared you. And now your hand closes before your faith can speak. I understand the pressure, but you must not let debt disciple your heart. Debt says, "There will never be enough." God says, "I am your source." Debt says, "Clutch." God says, "Trust." Debt says, "Protect yourself at all costs." God says, "Seek first the kingdom, and let your life come under my order." Here is your action step. Start where you are, but start honestly. If you have been giving nothing, begin with proportionate obedience. Set an amount that is faithful, consistent, and wise. Put it in the plan. Do not wait until you feel rich. Do not wait until every debt is gone. Do not give emotionally 1 week and then disappear for 3 months. Build consistency. Let generosity become part of the rhythm of the house. Give to God first. Help someone wisely. Support what is feeding your spirit. Bless quietly when the Lord leads. But do it with order. Do it with humility. Do it without applause. Do it without stealing from obligations you already assigned. And parents, your children need to see this balance. They need to see a disciplined home that still gives. They need to see that paying debt does not make you selfish, and giving does not make you foolish. They need to hear you say, "Money is a tool, not a master." They need to watch you buy groceries with wisdom, attack debt with discipline, and still keep an open hand before God. Because when children see generosity inside order, they learn that money is not something to worship, fear, or waste. It is something to manage, release, assign, and use for purpose. That is how fear loses its grip. Not through reckless giving, not through religious performance, not through pretending you have money you do not have. Fear breaks when a stewarded heart says, "God, I trust you more than I trust the pressure." Generosity breaks the spirit of scarcity. It reminds your soul that debt is not your Lord, lack is not your identity, and money is not your master. So give with wisdom. Give with consistency. Give with obedience. And let your children watch a house that is disciplined enough to plan, humble enough to obey, and free enough to release. And once your children have seen generosity inside order, you must understand this. Your personal rescue is not the finish line. It is the classroom. Listen to this carefully. God is not only trying to get you out of debt, He is trying to get debt out of your bloodline. He is trying to break the pattern before it becomes normal to your children. Because if you escape debt but never teach wisdom, the next generation may walk right back into the chains you prayed your way out of. They may have better opportunities, better income, better access, better technology, and still repeat the same bondage because nobody trained their appetite, nobody discipled their desires, nobody showed them how money works under the authority of God. And here is what nobody is telling you. The world is already teaching your children about money. Advertisements are teaching them. Influencers are teaching them. Apps are teaching them. Credit offers are teaching them. Store displays are teaching them. Friends are teaching them. Culture is teaching them that if you want it, you should have it now. That payments are normal. That debt is adulthood. That image is identity. That luxury is success. That payments is not. Debt is a not. That waiting is losing. That contentment is boring. So if you stay silent, silence becomes permission. If you do not disciple them, the system will. Deuteronomy 6:6 and 7 says, "These commandments that I give you today are to be on your hearts. Impress them on your children." Then it says to talk about them when you sit at home, when you walk along the road, when you lie down, and when you get up. Did you hear that? God did not say teach your children only in a formal meeting once a year. He said make wisdom part of the rhythm of the house, sitting, walking, lying down, rising. In other words, teach them in real life. Teach them in motion. Teach them when decisions are being made. Teach them when money is being spent. Teach them when desire rises. Teach them when sacrifice is required. That means the grocery store can become a classroom. You can stand in the aisle and say, "We planned $40 for this part of the list, so we are choosing what fits the plan." That is discipleship. You can compare two items and say, "This one is a want, this one is a need, and today needs come first." That is discipleship. You can let your child hold the calculator and watch the total rise, so they learn that money is not imaginary. That is discipleship. You can say, "We are not buying that today because we are saving for something more important." That is discipleship. A child does not need adult panic, but a child does need adult wisdom. Do not put fear on them. Do not make them carry the emotional weight of bills they cannot pay. Do not say, "We are broke," over and over until poverty becomes their identity. Do not make them feel guilty for having needs, but do teach them language. Say, "That is not in the plan." Say, "We are choosing patience." Say, "We save before we buy." Say, "We give first because God is our source." Say, "We do not borrow for every desire." Say, "Peace is part of the price." Those words will follow them into adulthood. Teach them to save for a purchase. Let them want something and not get it immediately. Do not rescue every desire from waiting. Waiting is not cruelty. Waiting is training. Delayed gratification is a muscle, and if you never let your child exercise it, do not be shocked when adulthood hands them a credit card and they have no strength to say no. Let them earn. Let them save. Let them count. Let them compare. Let them decide, do I still want this after waiting? Because sometimes waiting exposes that the desire was temporary. Teach them needs and wants before a lender teaches them minimum payments. Teach them giving before fear teaches them clutching. Teach them budgeting before impulse teaches them regret. Teach them contentment before comparison teaches them shame. Teach them that money is a servant before the world teaches them money is a god. And when a debt is paid off in your house, let them see the celebration. Not a celebration that creates new debt. A wise celebration. A testimony celebration. Say, "This bill is gone. This payment does not own our future anymore." Let them clap. Let them mark it off. Let them understand that discipline has a reward, because children need to see not only the sacrifice of wisdom, but the fruit of wisdom. They need to see that no can become freedom, that patience can become peace, that order can become testimony. Here is a family phrase I want you to put in your house. In this house, money serves purpose, peace, generosity, and legacy. Say it until it becomes culture. In this house, money serves purpose. That means money has assignment. In this house, money serves peace. That means we do not destroy our home to impress people outside of it. In this house, money serves generosity. That means fear does not own our hands. In this house, money serves legacy. That means we are thinking beyond today's appetite and building tomorrow's wisdom. So, let me ask you this. What inheritance are you really preparing? Because inheritance is not only money in an account. Some people leave bills. Some people leave silence. Some people leave fear. Some people leave children who know how to spend but do not know how to steward. Some people leave children who saw the stress but never learned the system. They saw the arguments but never heard the wisdom. They saw the swiping but never saw the plan. They inherited the anxiety but not the instruction. But you can leave something different. You can leave wisdom. You can leave discipline. You can leave faith. You can leave children who know how to pray and plan. Children who know how to give and save. Children who know the difference between a blessing and a burden. Children who understand that debt is not something to worship, normalize, or casually invite into every season of life. Here is your action step. This week, choose one money lesson and teach it in a real moment. At the grocery store, at the dinner table, while paying a bill, while saving for a purchase, while giving, while celebrating a debt payment. Keep it age appropriate, keep it calm, keep it clear, but do not keep it silent. The debt cycle breaks faster when the next generation is trained in wisdom before the world trains them in bondage. So, teach diligently. Teach while sitting, teach while walking, teach while rising, teach while building, and let your children inherit more than your survival. Let them inherit wisdom, order, generosity, faith, and a house where money bows to purpose. And once you begin teaching your children the lessons you had to learn in pain, you must now look at your paycheck differently. Because your paycheck is not just survival money. It is not just bill money. It is not just grocery money. It is not just the thing that disappears every 2 weeks while you wonder where it went. Your paycheck is seed. Your paycheck is assignment. Your paycheck is a tool God can use to bring order, freedom, generosity, and generational repair into your house. Listen to this carefully. If you only see income as something to consume, you will always need more and still feel empty. But when you see income as something to steward, even what looks small can begin to multiply under order. The question is not just, how much did I make? The deeper question is, what did I assign it to do? Because money without assignment becomes appetite. Money without order becomes leakage. Money without purpose becomes pressure. And wealth without purpose is poverty with a better view. Matthew 25 tells us the parable of the talents. A master entrusted resources to his servants. One received 5 talents, one received 2, and one received 1. And when the master returned, he did not ask them how they felt about the money. He did not ask if the economy was difficult. He did not ask if they were intimidated by what someone else had. He asked for an account. The servants who multiplied what they received were called faithful. The one who buried what he received was rebuked. Why? Because God expects management. God expects multiplication. God expects accountability. And here is what nobody is telling you. The issue was not that every servant received the same amount. They did not. The issue was that every servant was responsible for what was placed in his hand. That means comparison is a distraction. Stop saying, if I made what they made, I would be faithful. No, faithfulness starts with what is already in your hand. If you cannot assign the paycheck you have, more income may only give your chaos more room to spread. So here is the order. When income comes in, give first. Honor God first. Let your heart remember who your source is before fear starts making demands. Then, cover needs. Food, shelter, utilities, transportation, medicine, the real responsibilities of the house. Then attack debt, not casually, not randomly, with the strategy you already chose. Then build emergency margin, because margin protects your family from turning every surprise into another loan. Then, invest in skills. Learn something. Improve something. Get certified. Build capacity. Become more valuable in the marketplace with humility and discipline. Then prepare for the next generation. Save, teach, plan, and build something your children can learn from, not just something they can spend. That is how a paycheck becomes legacy. Not because it was large, but because it was governed. So, let me ask you this. Is your income arriving to a plan, or is it arriving to a crowd of cravings? Because if every dollar gets attacked the moment it lands, your paycheck will never become a legacy assignment. It will become a battlefield. This bill shouting, that desire shouting, this child needs something, that sale is ending tonight, this subscription renews, that impulse speaks. And before wisdom can give an instruction, the money is gone. No, before the money arrives, give it a mission. Say, this much will honor God, this much will cover the house, this much will attack debt, this much will build margin, this much will build skill, this much will prepare the future. Do not wait until payday to decide who you are. Decide before it arrives. And ask God for increase with purpose. Do not just pray, Lord, give me more money, while refusing to manage what He already gave. Pray, Lord, give me wisdom, give me better opportunities, give me disciplined skills, give me favor with responsibility, give me income that already has an assignment before it touches my account, because increase becomes legacy only when it is governed by purpose. Here is your action step. Before your next paycheck arrives, write its assignment on paper. Give, needs, debt, margin, skills, next generation. Put a number beside each one, even if the number is small. Small assigned money is more powerful than large, confused money. Then speak over it. This paycheck will not disappear. This paycheck will obey purpose. Those big. Your children do not need to inherit financial confusion with a higher income. They need to inherit a new pattern. They need to see that money can be commanded by wisdom, submitted to God, and used to repair what debt tried to destroy. Turn your paycheck into a legacy assignment. Let every dollar report for duty. Let every increase serve purpose. And let your house become proof that when God can trust the steward, He can multiply the seed. And now, after all of this, we do not just talk about money, we bring the house before God. Because this journey was never only about paying bills. It was about exposing the pattern. It was about telling the truth about what debt has been teaching your house. It was about renewing the mind that kept accepting bondage as normal. It was about counting the cost, closing the leaks, choosing boundaries over image, attacking debt with strategy, building systems that keep obeying when emotions get tired, practicing generosity in order, teaching your children wisdom before the world teaches them bondage, and turning every paycheck into an assignment. But listen to this carefully. The cycle breaks when prayer becomes obedience, and obedience becomes a new family pattern. Some people want prayer to replace the plan. Other people want the plan without prayer. But the kingdom does not require you to choose between faith and wisdom. You pray, and then you count. You pray, and then you cut the leak. You pray, and then you set the automatic payment. You pray, and then you teach the child. You pray, and then you tell the truth. You pray, and then you stop pretending. Because prayer is not an escape from responsibility. Prayer is where your heart is surrendered, so your hands can obey. So right now, I want you to bring your household before God. Not the polished version, not the version you show people. Bring the real house, bring the overdue bill, bring the fear, bring the shame, bring the arguments, bring the silence, bring the spending patterns. Bring the childhood wounds around money. Bring the pressure you have been carrying alone. Bring the children you are trying to protect. Bring the spouse conversation you have been avoiding. Bring the decisions that need courage. Bring it all. Father, in the name of Jesus, I pray over every household listening right now. I pray over the parent who is tired of pretending everything is fine. I pray over the mother who has been stretching groceries, juggling bills, and crying quietly where the children cannot see. I pray over the father who feels the weight of provision and does not know how to say, I need help. I pray over the single parent, the newly married couple, the family rebuilding after loss, the household recovering from bad decisions, medical bills, job loss, divorce, betrayal, addiction, or seasons of survival. Lord, break shame off this house. Shame has been speaking too loudly. Shame has been saying, you are foolish, you are trapped, you are behind forever. You failed your children, you will never recover. But shame is not the voice of God. Romans 8:1 says there is now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. So we reject condemnation. We reject hopelessness. We reject the lie that yesterday gets to own tomorrow. Give this house wisdom. Proverbs says wisdom is the principal thing. So Lord, give wisdom for decisions, wisdom for spending, wisdom for timing, wisdom for conversations, wisdom for work, wisdom for increase, wisdom for debt repayment, wisdom for what to cancel, what to sell, what to keep, what to pause, what to build, and what to confront. Let confusion leave, let order come, let every dollar find its assignment. Give this house discipline, not emotional excitement for 1 week, not temporary motivation after one message. Discipline, steady obedience, quiet consistency, the strength to say no when image is screaming, the strength to wait when appetite is demanding, the strength to keep tracking when nobody claps, the strength to keep paying when the balance looks stubborn, the strength to keep giving when fear says clutch, the strength to keep teaching when culture is louder. Protect the children. Father, do not let debt disciple the next generation. Do not let fear become the family language. Do not let panic become their inheritance. Do not let them grow up thinking stress is normal, payments are normal, pretending is normal, and bondage is adulthood. Let them see wisdom. Let them hear peace. Let them learn patience. Let them watch their parents repent, rebuild, budget, give, save, attack debt, and trust God with integrity. Heal financial fear. Heal the fear that came from lack. Heal the fear that came from unstable homes. Heal the fear that came from emergencies, layoffs, repossessions, overdrafts, collection calls, and nights where there was not enough. Lord, teach this household that you are source, but also teach them to steward what you provide. Let faith rise. Let courage rise. Let humility rise. Let obedience rise. And now I want you to repeat this declaration out loud, not as a performance, but as agreement. Say it with your mouth. I am a steward, not a slave. My house will walk in wisdom, order, generosity, and freedom. Debt will not disciple my children. Fear will not be our family language. Confusion will not govern our money. Every dollar will receive an assignment. Every paycheck will serve purpose. My family is breaking the debt cycle in Jesus' name. Say it again if you need to. I am a steward, not a slave. My house will walk in wisdom, order, generosity, and freedom. And here is your final action step. Do not let this stay emotional. Put the plan on the table, literally. Sit down with paper, a spreadsheet, a notebook, whatever you have. Write the debts. Write the income. Write the leaks. Write the next payment. Write the family phrase. Write the first conversation you need to have. Write the first boundary you need to set. Then pray over it. And after you pray, obey the next step. If you are fighting debt right now, if you are rebuilding after loss, if you are believing God for a family breakthrough, leave your prayer request in the comments. Do not carry it in silence. There are people who need to agree with you. And while you are there, write this declaration. My family is breaking the debt cycle. Put it in the comments as a public agreement that your house is not staying where it has been. Share this with a parent, a spouse, a friend, or someone who needs courage to confront what has been controlling the house. Subscribe for more biblical money wisdom, because your future needs repeated truth, not random inspiration. And like this video as an act of agreement with the declaration you just made. This is not the end. This is the beginning of a new family pattern. Pray over the house, put the plan on the table, then obey until wisdom becomes normal, order becomes culture, generosity becomes rhythm, and freedom becomes the inheritance your children remember.